Can you identify as a black person?
No,
Why?
because I'm not black.
I'm not a woman, but I can identify as a woman according to you.
If you transition, maybe.
What defines a transition?
If that's your goal, you know?
If you believe it.
Sure.
If you believe you're black, why aren't you black?
Well, that's just not, that's like genetics. That's like ancestry.
You're also born a man or a woman. It's the same thing. That's also genetics.
Okay, I'm over it.
They always disappear when you bring facts, and they know they're wrong.
Bro, this whole body shaming bullshit is.
Yeah, it
I
makes
think
no sense. It's too double standard.
Yeah. How are you making fun of guys for their height?
Yeah.
It's something you have no control over, and it's become too common now. Girls can freely put over 6 feet only in their Tinder bio.
Huh.
But if
Why can't
put,
I say the same?
No, what if I put under 50 kgs only? Imagine.
Girls coming with 5 feet of height and asking for 6 feet guys.
In today's polarized world, is feminism dead? I saw your hand.
I think that depends on the definition of feminism. I strongly think that feminism is more of an action than an identity. I would say it's uplifting all women, in which case it's very alive. At the same time, if we do follow that definition, feminism has splintered off into so many different areas that you can look at people like Sheryl Sandberg who say you should just get another nanny if you feel oppressed. And if we're talking about that kind of feminism, yeah, it's pretty dead.
I think feminism isn't actually about equality. It's about equality when it benefits us. I think feminism is really about women wanting special privileges and treatment at the expense of men often. And I think it's alive and well, sadly.
Our generation is cooked because of these aliens.
Women's rights, but we can't define what a woman is. But also men can be women. And no uterus, no opinion, but also men can get pregnant. Men are oppressing us. But also, it's okay if biological men take over our spaces and our sports. Women are so over-sexualized in this culture, but it's empowering if women are the ones sexualizing themselves. Are you guys quite done yet? Like, are you okay?
That just about sums it up.
This is my friend Brianna Robinson. You should absolutely go follow her. She's fabulous. It's incredibly hypocritical, as everything is. Modern day feminism is not consistent in the slightest. Somebody commented and said, high empathy and low IQ generally correlate with feelings over facts. I mean, that's the basis of modern day feminism.
What I do not like is the feminism that calls itself feminism when it is actually misandry.
It says she was active on here 3 days ago. Find a new place to stay. I'm gonna go back to the crib. You find a new place.
I'm staying at the airport.
How long you guys been dating beforehand? We've been 3+ years. 3 years? Yeah. You guys trust each other? Yeah. The reason I came up to you guys today is I wanted to ask you, are you down to see if your girlfriend is on any dating apps right now? Yeah, let's do it. You be down to check? She's gonna be using Cheater Buster AI. You nervous at all? No, she's the most loyal girl I've ever met.
I just feel like we trust each other enough, and we have known each other since high school.
This just came up. Is this her Tinder? Is this you? Is that you?
I don't know what that is.
Is that actually you? She was active on here 3 days ago. Find a new place to stay. I'm gonna go back to the crib. You find a new place.
I'm staying at the Airbnb tonight.
No, you're not. All right, whatever. I'm gone.
Come on. I don't.
He 100% had the right reaction, not a simp.
Men don't care if they're not welcomed. They don't expect people to just accept them into a group like women do, because again, men live in the real world. Women do not. We live in this play pretend world where we're given more credit for what we actually do than we do.
Mm-hmm. So I've seen you speak many times about the detrimental effects that all of these things have on men's mental health, and that they have a higher rate of suicide, they have all these things. And so I think that it's really interesting that you care a lot, seemingly, about men's mental health, but then at the same time you'll say, oh, men don't care if you're mean to them, men don't care if they're not welcomed. You say all of these things that have an impact on men's mental health. So I think to care about one, you have to recognize how it impacts the other.
What I'm saying is men understand that that's the real world, and they know there's nothing they can do to change that. Women go
There is
into
plenty that we can do.
women go into a man's world and they expect to be given special treatment and privileges.
Pearl described how men react to unfavorable conditions, not prescribing those conditions as acceptable. Of course, some feminists may not understand the difference.
Be honest with me. What is the real reason why you're single right now?
I think I'm going to speak for all men in this video, and I'm going to do that by using a flow chart of what has happened to me. So let's jump right in. So here's little baby us. Okay, and then at some point in our childhood, we're going to go through something that's going to happen to us, which is going to then cause us to bottle up our emotions and learn to deal with it. Then, somewhere years later along the way, we're going to meet pretty girl number one. Pretty girl number one is going to make us feel trust again, in love and cared for, which will then lead us to open up about our emotions. Okay? And once time goes by and you spill all the beans to her, she will inevitably cheat on you. Okay? And these little arrows here show how she's going to use all your insecurities and trust issues and mental health to then throw it back in your face and make you seem like the bad guy and make you feel like shit about yourself. Okay? That will then cause us to self-sabotage and be upset. Okay? We will self-sabotage every relationship going forward. Okay? We're going to go to alcohol and money and fast things like motorcycles. And in the very end, we will never trust a woman again. So that pretty much is the Spark Notes version of it. That lays out everything you guys need to know. Girls, hope you got it. Boys, got your back. I'll see you next time.
I know this to be true for so many men, but for the women that are listening to this, they will absolutely say, well, women go through a similar thing, right? They go through hurt where a man has hurt her, but that doesn't allow her to hurt future men back, right? But there is a key difference in the experience of what a man goes through and what a woman goes through. And so I want to highlight it because this man, he touched on it. And that key difference is that a man is made to feel like the bad guy, all right? Even though oftentimes it's either the woman or it's a combination, right? It's both of them. They both have parts within the demise of that relationship, but the man is made to feel like he's the bad guy. And it's very infrequent where a woman is actually made to feel like the bad guy, like socially, publicly, and just between the two of them. And that is why a man will go through the process of bottling up and he won't open up and he will turn to some of those other things that helps him cope. So yeah, ladies, for a lot of men that are single, it's because of how he's been treated. Tell me I'm wrong.
If a man opens up emotionally to you about his past, it means he trusts you. Don't take that trust lightly.
Does that make sense for you as far as like why divorce is inherently more risky for men?
I just feel like you're saying because women tend to be the person who initiates a divorce, correct?
Yes.
That's why it's riskier for men. But why do women tend to end divorces? With successful men that have money, they cheat.
She said it earlier.
They do all these things that women don't want to put up with.
She said it earlier. It's
so
a feeling.
why?
Feelings change from day to day.
Yeah. So I could have been in love with the person at the moment, but if that person is no longer treating me well just because we're married, I have to say no.
That's the point.
Because he can't be a good husband.
So as a man,
that's all I'm asking.
If I marry you and you decide, you know what, he's not the guy I thought he was anymore, I'm leaving. You take half my stuff, and maybe
is there no risk without reward?
So what?
You married me, right?
No. So once again, this is why
you
men
wanted to marry me.
Don't want to get married.
You loved me enough that it would be worth it to you to marry me and take the risk.
Hold on, stop the show. You just basically admitted it with your own words. Why guys don't get married?
When she started her argument with, "I just feel," she is already lost.
I posted a video about guys not knowing what they want in their 30s, and let me tell you, the comments have me like shook. The amount of men saying that they don't want to get married because they don't want to have to take care of a woman is like absolutely mind-blowing to me. Like, love is dead. It's dead.
For anyone that has listened to men in the last decade, this should not be surprising. Because let's face it, ladies, men are no longer to expect anything from a woman in marriage. Because when they talk about expectations, especially on social media, they get put through the ringer. And that has leaked into the real world. Like, men have a lot to lose when it comes to relationships, especially marriage. They are expected to give without requiring or wanting or asking for anything in return. A lot of men that have experienced that feeling in a real life relationship that he's been through, he has decided to remain single rather than put himself through that again. And honestly, what he sees on social media just reinforces that.
Men don't want a woman who is commenting on their relationship on social media.
I just think marriage is a no. In today's day and age, I mean, there's obviously the tradition component if you're religious, but you know, when it comes to the government involvement and the potential financial ramifications of having to unwind a marriage, it does not make sense. So don't get married, guys. Don't do it. You do, but you could have a life partner, for example, but you just don't need the government involved.
Exactly
in that.
right. Yep.
Okay.
And fully wants the whole white picket fence. We are husband and wife, but I just don't feel the need to go and sign some paper that lets them know that we are.
Yep.
It's the family courts that feed into the selfish delusion of most women.
With your sameness and fairness thing, to be honest with you, it kind of sounds to me like you want equality as long as it's benefiting women, but when it's not benefiting women and men can take the brunt of it, you're like, that's cool. Like, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. How do you see that?
Well, I mean, if we lived in like a properly feminist world, there wouldn't be affirmative action initiatives to put more women in positions of like workplace positions and in academic positions. If we had a truly equal world, women, like I said, would get drafted into the military. Like, I think if feminists want to truly fight for equality, it's like, put your money where your mouth is. But if you only want equality when it's benefiting you, then it's not. You don't actually want equality. You just want a world that benefits women more often.
They've been taught victimhood is empowerment.
I'm not going to thank my husband for putting a new trash bag into the trash can. I'm not going to thank him for putting his clothes in the hamper. I'm not going to thank him for unloading the dishwasher. I'm not going to thank him for changing a diaper. I'm not going to thank him for cleaning a toilet. I'm not going to thank him for making the bed. I'm not going to thank him for doing any of the things that just come with living in a house. Like, if he would have to do it, if I didn't live here, like if he lived by himself and that was still a required task, I'm not saying thank you. That is just part of existing in a functioning home.
I'm not sure where this line of thought came from, that if we say thank you or show any type of gratitude, that we are enabling lazy men and that we will end up receiving less. Ladies, that is not how men work. And could you imagine if a man took the same line of thought and he decided he would no longer praise you for caring for your children, for making dinner, or for doing housework? Men are results driven, which is why gratitude, even for the small things, goes a long way.
You don't have to thank him because his new wife definitely will.
Anything men can do, we can do better. Reject delusion. Embrace gender differences.
Men and women are created not to compete, but to complement each other's strengths and weaknesses. Let the men be men and women be women. It is something that feminism can't possibly fully grasp, even though it is just a simple common sense.
My father was a very hard man. Like when I say hard, like I guess that's the term. He was like, he didn't want it. Don't feel sorry for yourself. I didn't understand what he was doing. I remember once I came home and I don't know what I was upset about. He's just like, what happened? And I'm like, this person did this and this to me. Somebody slighted me or it hurt me. They did something significant enough and I felt betrayed. He's like, are you done crying? And I said, what do you mean? He's like, that's enough. And he's like, what did you do about it? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, this person who did this to you, what did you do? And I said, nothing. He's like, you didn't say fuck you? And I was like, what? He's like, sometimes you got to learn how to say fuck you.
It's powerful. No, it is.
And I learned like, you know, and this is where sometimes I have to like manage my T-Rex. You and I talk about it. I'm very much in a fight mode. But he taught me, he's like, you can't just sit there. He's like, sometimes he would say, put some water in your wine and let things flow, let things pass. But he's like, but sometimes he's like, you can't let people or things break you to a point where you're like this. He's like, get up and go.
The world becomes more accessible when you understand that you can stand up for yourself.
She just spent the whole beginning of the show telling us that she has never gotten proposed to. She hasn't been able to get married. And
I never said that. You're lying.
No,
you're ugly and you're lying. It's oozing out of your pores.
Listen, Marge, you came on the podcast.
You're rude. I'm no longer speaking to you. You're ugly.
Okay, I'll speak to the rest of the panel. She came on here to talk about her dating life, and she spent her whole intro explaining how she's only ever been able to get guys who wanted her to pay the bills, and they were just losers and they were pieces of shit. They had nothing going for them. They didn't bring anything to the table. They were lazy.
In my early 20s.
Okay, well, where's the millionaire asking to marry you? Most of us don't marry millionaires. So it's delusional for you to think like, oh yeah, I totally deserve that. Like, why?
I said I wanted somebody established. You obviously have no standards because you married that loser. You're probably begging to get out.
You think so?
Yeah, I do, because you're on this show. How pathetic.
You're also on the show, ma'am.
Those girls are getting a glimpse into their future. Thanks for watching MGTOW Voice. Show us your love by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Support us and help spread awareness for men around the world. We welcome a healthy debate and discussion, so feel free to comment and share your thoughts.